Breaking news as we come on the air. Donald Trump's battle to stay on the ballot in Maine, what we're just learning. First, that record rain in the Northeast, flooding highways on the busiest travel day of the season on the roads. In the West, a new storm slamming the coast, waves up to 35 feet. Officials ordering evacuations and warning of life-threatening conditions. The weather not helping the lines at the nation's airports. The TSA screening 2.6 million passengers on Wednesday, more than expected. Tomorrow likely to be even busier. Gio Benitez on the travel impact. Rob Marciano with the forecast. The crisis at the border. More buses heading north to sanctuary cities as officials plead for help from Washington. What they're doing now as their communities are pushed to the breaking point. The new agreement between the U.S. and Mexico as a large migrant caravan moves towards the border. Overseas, the war between Israel and Hamas, another American hostage confirmed dead. A wife, mother, and grandmother. Her husband was also killed. And why Israel says it could expand operations in southern Lebanon. Britt Clennett from Israel. In the race for the White House, former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley under fire and trying to clarify her comments a day after she failed to mention the word slavery when asked about the cause of the Civil War, how her GOP rivals are responding. The moment police in Texas swarm a home, the site of an alleged murder plot, why authorities say the teenage suspect lured his friends to kill them. The new drop in mortgage rates, encouraging news for home buyers, what this could mean for the housing market as we head into a new year. The scene of the Idaho college murders, the victim's house is demolished. News on a popular asthma inhaler, the change that could impact patients. And America Strong tonight, one family's holiday surprise reunion and their message of cheer for 2024.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening and thanks for joining us on this Thursday night. I'm Whit Johnson in for David. And we begin with that breaking news as we come on the air. Just moments ago, a second state deciding Donald Trump's name does not belong on the ballot. The Secretary of State in Maine disqualifying Trump, siding with a group of politicians who believe he is ineligible to appear on the primary ballot for, quote, engaging in insurrection on January 6th, citing the terms of the 14th Amendment. The decision follows the Colorado Supreme Court ruling, removing Trump from their ballot earlier this month. ABC's Aaron Katersky leads us off with late details just coming in.
Tonight, a second state has decided Donald Trump does not belong on the ballot. The Secretary of State in Maine disqualified Trump, siding with a group of politicians, one Democrat, one Republican, and one independent, who said Trump was ineligible for the primary ballot because, having previously taken an oath to support the Constitution, Trump engaged in insurrection against the same.
We believe former President Trump, on January 6th, engaged in an insurrection against the Constitution of the United States. And under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, that disqualifies him from holding the office of the presidency.
Unlike other states where the decision is left to the courts, in Maine it was up to the Secretary of State, Shenna Bellows. Trump's attorneys had warned she would be reaching a singular conclusion.
All of whom have been asked to engage in this type of in a disqualification, and every administrative official has declined to do that for good reason.
At the last minute, Trump asked Bellows, a Democrat, to recuse herself, but she declined. Maine now joins Colorado in booting Trump from the primary ballot. Republicans there appealed the Colorado Supreme Court ruling to the U.S. Supreme Court, and Trump is expected to do the same. The Trump campaign has already said tonight they will file a legal challenge to the Maine Secretary of State's decision. Trump has prevailed in most attempts to remove his name from the ballot. There are pending challenges in about a dozen other states. And Trump's name will remain on the ballot in Colorado during the Supreme Court appeal. Whit.
Our thanks to Aaron Katersky with those breaking details. We move on now to the major storms, flood evacuations, heavy rain and snow, all happening on one of the busiest travel days of the year, especially on America's highways. Here in New York City, rain flooding major roads for the morning commute, some temporarily shut down. A new system now targeting the West Coast. Coastal flooding reported in Santa Cruz County, waves up to 35 feet crashing onto the shore. Rob Marciano standing by with the forecast. But first, here's ABC's transportation correspondent, Gio Benitez.
Tonight, life-threatening conditions as that powerful storm slams the west. In the Bay Area, waves up to 35 feet, debris covering roads, officials warning multiple communities to evacuate. South of there in Ventura County, waves breaching the seawall.
Everyone okay? Anyone missing? Oh my God.
Homes damaged, first responders searching the coastline on jet skis and in choppers after reports of people in the water. The storm's moving in just as millions across the country hit the roads. In the Northeast, record rain swamping New York City highways this morning. Highways now packed with a mix of travelers heading to their New Year's destinations and folks coming home from Christmas, making today the busiest day of the season to hit the road. Meanwhile, at the airports, the TSA says more than 2.6 million people went through security Wednesday, even more than predicted. Cancellations so far, minimal. But it's not all been smooth sailing. Kevin Locke is stranded in Palm Beach trying to get to Pennsylvania.
The next flight that I have is 8 p.m. tonight, so it'll be 24 hours here.
Experts say the busiest day to fly is tomorrow. And with the majority of travelers are driving, so the worst times to hit the road tomorrow between 2 and 8 p.m., Saturday between 5 and 8, and then New Year's Day will be the next busiest travel day. Whit?
Always appreciate that timing, Gio. Thank you. Let's get right to ABC's senior meteorologist, Rob Marciano. Rob, that northeast storm now on the move, but still an urgent threat out west tonight.
Yeah, you know, that heavy rain came through this morning, but we still have to deal with this upper level low, which is way out west and is crawling. It's over Indiana right now. You see it. Everything out in front of it is still kind of dreary with on and off rain. It'll get to the East Coast eventually tomorrow, some wraparound snow showers, and then we'll eventually be done with it. But that's just as that big storm is coming into the west. Seattle, San Francisco tomorrow morning, and then into Central California, eventually into Los Angeles. Heavy rain coming in with this, heavy mountain snow. They'll take the snow in the mountains and 1 to 2 inches of rainfall. That should be manageable enough in most spots, but you saw those big waves come in. They'll continue to be dangerous. 8 people reported sent to the hospital in Ventura counties. So you have to back off from the ocean when this storm comes in. Whit?
Important information, Rob. Thank you. We move on now to the migrant crisis at the southern border. A new caravan of more than 1,000 people trying to make its way to the U.S. New busloads of migrants arriving in several American cities, including New York, where the mayor is pushing back against Texas Governor Greg Abbott, at the same time demanding federal help. ABC's Trevor All here in New York.
Tonight, more buses of asylum seekers heading north to sanctuary cities that are already stretched thin by this surge of migrants, pushing several of their Democrat mayors to heighten their calls for federal assistance.
We need the state and federal government's help in resettling and supporting the 68,000 migrants.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams now requiring more than a day's notice for buses dropping off asylum seekers and only allowing arrivals weekday mornings. More than 180 new migrants arriving in the city Tuesday, sent by Texas Governor Greg Abbott, and officials say last week 14 buses arrived in a single day. In Denver, more than 4,000 asylum seekers are now in the city's shelters. That's 10 times the number they had just 6 months ago.
We need Congress to help by expanding that work authorization, approving those federal dollars, and helping us create a plan for coordinated entry of migrants.
A bipartisan group of senators working remotely over the holidays have spent weeks attempting to hammer out a deal for heightened border security. All the while tonight, that migrant caravan inching its way north through Mexico, now about 500 miles from the U.S. border. It had been estimated at 6,000 people, though Mexican officials now say it's down to 1,500. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas in Mexico Wednesday, pressing the country's president for help slowing the surge, though Mexico, too, is requesting aid from America's federal government to help address this unprecedented migration.
Trevor Ault back with us now. And Trevor, after those major talks between the U.S. and Mexico, both countries announcing there is some agreement on addressing the border surge.
They have, Whit. So both the U.S. and Mexico have agreed to crack down on migrant trafficking and to promote a legal migration pathway. And tonight, according to CBP data obtained by ABC News, the number of Border Patrol apprehensions has slowed a bit from those record highs we saw earlier this month. But December is still on pace to be a new record high for the Biden administration. Whit.
Trevor, thank you. Now to the Israel-Hamas war. Israeli officials confirming a second American hostage has been killed. A 70-year-old woman originally from Orange County, New York. She was believed to be one of 8 Americans being held in Gaza. This comes as the Israeli military signals it may expand attacks against Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. ABC's Britt Clennett in Tel Aviv tonight.
Tonight, Israeli officials confirming the death of the last American woman believed to be held by Hamas, 70-year-old Judih Weinstein, seen here on the morning of Hamas's attack, leaving for a walk with her husband Gadi. The couple capturing this video as the Hamas assault began. Soon after, Israeli officials say they were shot and taken by the attacking militants. Her kibbutz saying the mother of 4 and grandmother of 7 suffered severe wounds that day and later died. Just last week, officials announced her husband was also killed in the assault. Judih's daughter sharing with us last month the few details she had received about her mother.
My mom was shot in her arm and face.
The IDF tonight releasing a report on the deaths of 3 other hostages mistakenly shot and killed by Israeli forces on December 15th. The report saying IDF soldiers fired upon the captives after days of intense fighting in the area and believed the hostages' calls for help were an attempt to deceive and lure Israeli forces into a Hamas ambush. Tonight in Jerusalem, hundreds of protesters gathering outside the Knesset after a 5-day march from Tel Aviv to demand the release of the remaining hostages. Yaakov Goro's son Tom was killed by Hamas on October 7th. He blames Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu and his government for the attack.
If you had one message to him tonight, what would it be?
Go away immediately. Save Israel by going away.
It comes as fears grow this conflict could spread to other parts of the region. Israel today intercepting what it says was a drone launched from southern Lebanon. A member of Israel's war council warning this week that if the Lebanese government does not take action to secure the border against Hezbollah, the IDF will.
We're not interested in that escalation, but we can't be expected to roll over it.
Israel already expanding its operations in southern Gaza. A strike in Rafah today killing at least 20. This man saying, "We fled to this place. All my family members are here."
And with President Biden in a statement tonight saying the family of Judih Weinstein and Gadi Haggai, that American couple killed, have lived through hell. Biden renewing his promise that he will not stop working to bring the remaining hostages home.
Britt Clennett, our thanks to you tonight. Back here in the U.S. and the 2024 presidential race, Republican candidate Nikki Haley facing backlash for her response during a town hall meeting in New Hampshire where she was asked what caused the Civil War. Haley, the former governor of South Carolina, the first state to secede from the Union, heavily criticized for avoiding any mention of the word slavery. Here's ABC's Elizabeth Schulze.
Tonight, Republican presidential hopeful Nikki Haley under fire for failing to identify slavery as the cause of the Civil War at a New Hampshire town hall.
What was the cause of the United States Civil War?
Well, don't come with an easy question or anything. I mean, I think the cause of the Civil War was basically how government was going to run, the freedoms and what people could and couldn't do.
It's astonishing to me that you answer that question without mentioning the word slavery.
What do you want me to say about slavery?
Today, the former South Carolina governor, who removed the Confederate flag from the state capitol after 9 black churchgoers were killed in a mass shooting, trying to clarify.
Of course the Civil War was about slavery.
But the backlash was immediate. President Biden responding, it was about slavery. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who's also faced fierce criticism for suggesting African Americans benefited from slavery, pouncing on Haley's remarks.
Not that difficult to identify and acknowledge the role slavery played in the Civil War, and yet that seemed to be something that was really difficult, and I don't even know what she was saying.
Haley's GOP rivals quick to attack as she gains ground in polls in the critical primary state of New Hampshire. Former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie launching a new 7-figure ad campaign in the Granite State as he trails behind, saying it's he, not Haley, who can beat Trump.
Some people say I should drop out of this race. Really? I'm the only one saying Donald Trump is a liar.
With just 18 days until the first votes are cast in Iowa, former President Trump is still the clear frontrunner for the Republican nomination. Tonight, President Biden's campaign is attacking the entire GOP field, accusing them of pandering to the most extreme fringe of their base.
Elizabeth Schulze, thank you. Now to a chilling case unfolding just outside Houston. A teenager now charged with murdering one friend and critically wounding another, luring them to his home where he allegedly shot both of them. Police swarming his house on Christmas Day. Authorities say he told investigators he wanted to commit homicide for a long time, even convincing his mother to buy him a gun. The second victim remains in critical condition. Now to some encouraging news for potential home buyers. Mortgage rates dropping for the 9th week in a row, falling to their lowest level since May. But as mortgage rates come down, home prices remain high, with houses on the market in limited supply. Here's ABC's Zorin Shah.
Tonight, welcome news for home buyers. 30-year fixed mortgage rates slide to their lowest point since May. Down for the 9th straight week now, have many on the market holding their breath, waiting for home sales to rebound in the new year. Pending home sales from November virtually around the same compared to the month before due to very little available inventory. 1 month ago, to buy the average $400,000 home, you would have needed to make monthly payments of $2,721. Today, that same house will cost you $2,557. The National Association of Realtors saying the U.S. housing market is at least 4 million homes short of demand. Lisa Gluck and Nate Arbach have been looking to buy a house in Los Angeles for nearly 2 years.
We've put in countless offers.
There's not enough inventory around what we're looking for, so people can charge what they want.
Despite this, and with rates creeping lower, experts predict it can spark a surge of renewed interest.
With mortgage rate going down, it will bring more buyers into the market. But we will also have more supply. Builders are ramping up production, and we anticipate more homeowners beginning to list property in 2024.
And with this year has been a tough one for home buyers, but many are seeing relief. The Fed is cooling down inflation, and experts are predicting rate cuts by the spring. Whit.
All right, Zorin, thank you. When we come back tonight, news on a popular asthma inhaler and the impact coming for patients in just days. The daring rescue on the subway tracks here in New York, the hero officers in the right place at the right time. And the Idaho house, the scene of those horrific college student murders, is demolished. Stay with us. Next tonight, the house where 4 Idaho college students were murdered last year has been demolished. Crews began the process early this morning, despite objections from some of the victims' families. They'd asked the university to wait until after the trial of accused killer Brian Kohberger. A date for that trial has not been set. When we come back, the daring rescue on the tracks. To the index now, a daring rescue here in New York. Officers patrolling the subway in Brooklyn jumping into action after seeing a man fall onto the tracks. NYPD body camera images show the officers pulling that man to safety. Tonight, doctors are warning about a change to a popular asthma medication. Beginning Monday, drug maker GSK is discontinuing its branded asthma inhaler Flovent, replacing it with an authorized generic version, which the company says is identical to Flovent but without the branding. But doctors say it may not be as widely covered by insurers, so some patients will need new prescriptions. When we come back, America Strong, the surprise holiday reunion. Finally tonight, America Strong, the military homecoming, and a holiday surprise for one proud mom. First-class Airman Anthony Lawrence is about to give his mother, Krishandra, the surprise of her life.
Oh, baby!
An emotional reunion for the holidays. At the start of 2023, Anthony left his home near Chicago to begin service in the Air Force in California. The whole family choreographed this special moment with help from Duncan and the Justin Fields Foundation.
My mom's naturally skeptical, and so it was really hard finding an idea to kind of get her here.
Krishanda thought she was going to O'Hare Airport to pick up packages from Anthony, but as she stood with a courier to sign for them, Anthony appeared.
Oh my God!
Overwhelming. I'm shocked. I didn't understand. We have to go pick up a package, yet we have to show IDs, and I'm like, who does this?
My mom, she's always made jokes, like since I joined the military, like, oh, please surprise me, please surprise me.
Tonight, the whole family overwhelmed with gratitude and eager to start 2024 together.
It's amazing being back home for the holidays, getting to spend Christmas with the family. It was a blessing, and going into the New Year's is going to be even greater.
Thank you so much to everyone who was involved in bringing Anthony home. Our holidays are complete, and on behalf of the Trent Lorenz family, we would like to say Happy New Year!
Happy New Year indeed, a holiday to remember. I'm Whit Johnson in New York. I'll see you on GMA in the morning. Good night.
From America's #1 news comes the all-new ABC News app. If you love being in the know, you're gonna love this. Experience the all-new ABC News app. Download it now. Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.